bill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Let me start by associating myself with your remarks just now from the Chair. It is plain to all members of this House that the Government Chief Whip and Deputy Chief Whip have badly misstepped here, and indeed there has been scant respect for this House more generally from the Government Whip's office. I cannot believe such a thing would have happened when the Leader of the House was himself the Chief Whip. Let me join, if I may, the Prime Minister yesterday, and I'm sure the whole House today, in remembering the dreadful events of 30 years ago in Dunblane and paying tribute to the victims and their families. On a happier note, last Monday saw the 250th anniversary of Adam Smith's immortal masterpiece, The Wealth of Nations. Members may wish, if they like, to consult works by the Shadow Leader on this topic. I doubt if any other book or any single body of thought has had more effect in improving the lives and livelihoods of people across the world in the intervening 250 years. Mr. Speaker, we celebrate the service of our armed forces and we rightly treat defence matters, wherever possible, as bound by a united focus on the national interest. But it is precisely that focus on the national interest which requires us now to acknowledge that the past 2 weeks have been a disaster for this country. Our allies in the UAE, Bahrain, across the Gulf, have criticised this country for its, quote, slow and, quote, weak response to date. The Cypriot High Commissioner and the President of Cyprus have publicly expressed their disappointment and dissatisfaction. Why? Because we have exposed their people, our people, to drone attacks as targets, placed weapon systems on their territories, made solemn undertakings over many years to them, and now failed to come to their defence in time. It did not have to be this way, Mr. Speaker, so we must ask, how can this possibly have happened? Let us review the history. It was being publicly reported by January the 15th that America was starting to build a carrier strike force around the USS Abraham Lincoln targeted at Iran. On the 26th of January, the Washington Post reported that this force had arrived in the Middle East. On the 31st of January, our own Prime Minister himself told the BBC, and I quote, "The aim is that Iran shouldn't be able to deliver nuclear weapons." And I quote again, "We support the goal and we are talking to allies about how we get to that goal." Those remarks come close to an explicit endorsement of the United States on this operation, as they were doubtless intended to. But the key point is this. All this happened 4 full weeks before the start of the attack. Last week, at this dispatch box, I highlighted the gaps and inconsistencies in the government's position between its supposedly settled legal view and the last-ditch political decision reportedly taken in Cabinet on the Friday before hostilities began. And secondly, between the Cabinet and the Prime Minister, whose original instinct was to support the USA, but who was overruled. It is now clear that there has also been a disastrous failure of political leadership. The Prime Minister and the Cabinet knew, or should have known, for a full month that the USA was mustering a vast body of forces to attack Iran, that these could not remain on high readiness indefinitely, and so an attack must surely follow. The Prime Minister himself said last week that the government had pre-deployed some weapons to the region, yet he failed to give instructions in time to the Navy to prepare HMS Dragon. He failed to notify the Cypriots, and he failed to warn our allies and other friends across the region. Now that they are engaged, our armed forces are discharging their duties with distinction. But the result of this political incompetence has been a fiasco, which brought shame and dishonour on this country. We have the disgraceful sight now of the government anonymously trashing the Chief of the Defence Staff in a desperate attempt to deflect responsibility for its own inadequacies, not just via an anonymous leak in The Spectator, repeated in The Telegraph, but by a quoted, but of course unnamed official to the Financial Times. I cannot recall that a political hatchet job of this kind has ever been performed on a commanding officer in the course of a military operation. It is deeply dishonourable and itself a further sign of failure in number 10. So I ask the leader these things, whether he would support an inquiry into these leaks and briefings, and whether he would support an investigation in due course as to how this embarrassing fiasco can have been allowed to happen and what can be done to prevent it from ever happening again.
Hear, hear.